I can't stand the smell. Es una expresión en inglés que se puede utilizar para expresar una fuerte aversión a un olor. Se puede traducir como no puedo soportar el olor, me repugna el olor o me da asco el olor. Ejemplos. I can't stand the smell of cigarette smoke. No puedo soportar el olor del humo del cigarrillo. The smell of garbage is making me sick. I can't stand it. El olor a basura me está enfermando. No lo soporto. She can't stand the smell of onions. No soporta el olor a cebollas. Sinónimos. Can't bear the smell. Can't tolerate the smell. Can't stomach the smell. Find the smell unbearable. Find the smell repulsive. Antónimos. Like the smell. Enjoy the smell. Find the smell pleasant. Find the smell agreeable. Appreciate the smell. Expresiones similares. It makes me want to gag. Me dan ganas de vomitar. It turns my stomach. Me revuelve el estómago. It makes me sick. Me enferma. It's too much for me. Es demasiado para mí. I can't take it anymore. No, ya no puedo más. Ejemplos de uso en oraciones. I can't stand the smell of that fish. It's so strong. No puedo soportar el olor de ese pescado. Es tan fuerte. I had to leave the room because I couldn't stand the smell of the perfume. Tuve que salir de la habitación porque no podía soportar el olor del perfume. She can't stand the smell of gasoline. It makes her feel sick. No soporta el olor a gasolina. La enferma. Espero que esto te ayude. ¿Qué significa la palabra I can't bear? Expressing a strong dislike or intolerance. I can't bear the thought of spider. I can't bear the thought of spider. She can't bear the sound of her own voice. The children couldn't bear being separated from their parents. Describing intense emotional distress. I can't bear the pain of losing him. The thought of her suffering is unbearable. He couldn't bear the weight of his guilt any longer, emphasizing the severity of a situation. The drought condition is unbearable. The heat wave was unbearable and the people were struggling to cope. The economic situation is unbearable and many families are struggling to make ends meet, conveying a sense of helplessness or despair. I can bear the injustice of it all. I can bear the injustice of it all. The feeling of the loneliness is unbearable. She couldn't bear the thought of giving up on her dreams. This small illustrates the versatile nature of the phrase I can bear, which can be used to express a range of strong emotions and describe situations of extreme difficulty or distress. La frase en español no puedo soportar se puede traducir al inglés de varias maneras, dependiendo del contexto específico. Algunas de las traducciones más comunes son I can't stand, I can bear, I can take, I can endure, I can't put up with, I can't put up with. Ejemplos. No puedo soportar el ruido. I can't stand the noise. No puedo soportar a esa persona. I can't stand that person. No puedo soportar el calor. I can bear the heat. No puedo soportar más esta situación. I can't take this situation anymore. No puedo soportar la idea de perderte. I cannot endure the thought of losing you. No puedo soportar las injusticias. I can't put up with injustice. injustices. Consejos. La elección de la traducción más adecuada dependerá del contexto específico en el que se use la frase. Algunas de estas traducciones son más formales que otras. Por ejemplo, I cannot endure es más formal que I can't stand. También se pueden usar expresiones más coloquiales como I can't deal with o I can't handle. La traducción más común del verbo preocuparse en inglés es to worry. Se puede usar en diferentes contextos para expresar inquietud, ansiedad o aprensión sobre algo o alguien. Ejemplos. I'm worried about my job. Estoy preocupado por mi trabajo. She's worried about her children. Está preocupada por sus hijos. I'm worried about the future. Estoy preocupado por el futuro. Otras traducciones de preocuparse en inglés, dependiendo del contexto, pueden ser to be concerned. Esta expresión se usa para mostrar interés o preocupación por algo o alguien. To be anxious. Se utiliza para expresar una sensación de inquietud o nerviosismo. To be apprehensive. Esta palabra se usa para indicar un sentimiento de temor o miedo anticipado. To fret. Se emplea para describir una preocupación o inquietud constante sobre algo. Ejemplos. I'm concerned about her health. Estoy preocupado por su salud. He is feeling anxious about the exam. Se siente ansioso por el examen. She's apprehensive about going to the party. Está aprensiva por ir a la fiesta. Don't fret about it. No te preocupes por eso. Es importante tener en cuenta que la traducción más adecuada dependerá del contexto específico en el que se use la palabra preocuparse. Review is a general term that can be used for both studying a lesson for the first time and going back over it to reinforce your understanding. Revise is another general term that can be used for reviewing a lesson. It is often used in a context of preparing for an exam. Go over is a more informal way to say review or revise. It is often used to talk about starting a lesson with someone else. Brush up on is a phrase that means to review something quickly and informally. It is often used to talk about starting a topic that you have already learned but need to refresh your memory on. Catch up on is a phrase that means to review something that you have missed. It is often used to talk about starting a topic that you were absent for in class. Here are some examples on how to use these words. These words can be used in a sentence. I need to review the material for my history exam tomorrow. I'm going to revise my vocabulary before my Spanish test. We're going to go over the grammar rules in class today. We're going to go over the grammar rules in class today. I need to brush up my math skill before I start my new job. I'm going to catch up on the reading I missed while I was sick. There are a few different ways to say vamos a repasar la lección anterior. In English, depending on the context, here are a few options. Let's review the previous lesson. Shall we go over the previous lesson? We're going to go over the previous lessons. Let's take a look back. at the previous lesson? Why don't we review what we learned in the previous lessons? Here are some examples of how these phrases could be used in a sentence. Teacher, let's review the previous lesson before we move on to the next one. Student, shall we go over the previous lesson again? I'm not sure I understand everything. Tutor, we're going to go over the previous lesson and make sure you have a solid understanding of the material. Language learner, I'm going to take a look back at the previous lesson to see what I need to work on. Study group. Why don't we review what we learned in the previous lesson before our exam? The best way to translate vamos a repasar la lección anterior will depend on the specific situation. However, all of the phrases above are good options for conveying the same general meaning. La traducción más común de hacer un repaso en inglés es to review. Ejemplos: I need to review my notes before the exam. Necesito repasar mis apuntes antes del examen. The teacher is reviewing the material for the next test. El profesor está repasando el material para el próximo examen. I'm going to brush up my Spanish before my trip. Voy a repasar mi español antes de mi viaje. Otras traducciones posibles dependiendo del contexto se incluyen to go over, to revisit, to refresh, to recap. Ejemplos: let's go over the main points of the presentation. Repasemos los puntos principales de la presentación. We need to revisit the issue of the budget. Necesitamos volver a revisar el tema del presupuesto. I'm going to refresh my memory on how to use this software. Voy a refrescar mi memoria sobre cómo usar este software. This article provides a recap of the latest research on the climate change. El artículo ofrece un resumen de la última investigación sobre el cambio climático.